Hello and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I'm Amy, and every single Wednesday I am coming on live to answer our clients' questions of the week. So this week is a great question. The question is, how long should I be staying in or holding the self-care technique that I'm doing? So as we get started, I want to remind you that we are doing everything from a myofascial perspective. So we're looking ultimately for long-lasting results, and the body really does respond to more of a low load over a longer duration. So every technique that we're doing, we want you to be doing for at least a minimum of 2 minutes, but ideally upwards of 5+ minutes. Now, I know you tell me that that's a really long time to be in a technique or to hold something. So I want to help you understand what is kind of happening during this time and what are we doing. So first off, we want to choose an area that we're going to treat. We also want to decide, are we going to be using a tool or not using a tool? And then once we get into position and if we add our tool in, then we're going to start the important concept of softening. And as we soften onto that tool or into the technique, we're starting to find where our restrictions are. So these are going to be areas that are maybe hard, they may be tender, you may be feeling a tug or a pull in those areas. Our softening is going to last for a minimum of 2 minutes. So this is right at that minimum time frame that we were talking about. But what I want you to be doing is within that first minute, I want you to be checking in with your body. And I want you to be asking yourself, is your body responding to the technique that you're doing? If it is, if you're feeling your body soften, if you're feeling your body give and release, keep going. Keep releasing into those deeper restrictions. But if you aren't feeling this softening, if you aren't feeling this body giving, then we want to start listening and honoring to our body. So something isn't right about what we've chosen to do. So maybe we need to modify that technique. And maybe that includes decreasing the intensity of the tool that we're using or decrease the intensity of how far we're into that technique. We might be forcing it a little bit, or we might need to change that technique altogether. So your body is really giving you a really important message at this point and telling you something isn't right. So we want to listen to that and modify what we're doing. So once your body has started to soften for at least that minimum of 2 minutes, we're starting to get deeper into the system and starting to get deeper into the body. So now we can start to add in maybe some elongation. Maybe we start to progress the technique with adding a little bit of movement to find where our lines of tension are so that we can release more tension. And as always, if the technique is feeling good, stay with it. If it's being productive, stay with it. Stay with it longer. The more layers that you can release, the longer lasting results you are going to get. So from a fascial perspective, studies really do show that long-term change doesn't start to happen until the minimum of 5-minute mark. So that's why we want you to stay longer into these techniques, especially if your body's responding positively, but also we never want to be forcing. So remember that low load over a longer duration, you're not feeling the intensity that you would with a traditional stretch. So recommendations that I can provide for you to succeed when you're doing any type of myofascial self-care would be, again, just what we were talking about before, is less is more when it comes to myofascial techniques. If you feel like you're working, you really probably are working too hard. So less is more. Then we also want to find, when we find our restrictions, the intensity should really be more of a light to medium intensity most of the time. And so that means that we're not forcing the system. So less is more, lighter intensity. And then as you start to soften, you should be feeling releases. So what a release feels like would be a giving sensation, or it might be a little bit of like a lengthening sensation. So continue to soften into these techniques, continue to release on a deeper aspect, and that's where you really get the long-term change. So we want, as always, for all of you to get the results that you're looking for. So if you have questions, reach out via email or comment below, and we'll answer it in an upcoming What's Up Wednesday. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you next Wednesday.